Motorsports.
I'm telling you, it's very difficult. This Busch Brand National Racing is, I think, is just as competitive as Winston Cup, if not more. So,
you got to be careful not to get too aggressive. I mean, there's more cars practicing sometimes than there would be in a race.
You've got some great drivers, and not just from the southeast. They're starting to come from all over. And when you start getting 60 cars in an event, you know it's going to be competitive.
What's been going on is full contact sport. From the time the cars roll off the truck until the checkered flag, Busch Grand National Racing is flat out all the way.
I guess it's a tribute to the sport. We keep getting more and more cars, more sponsors. The sport's growing.
So follow us here on TNN. We know the way to victory lane, and we're headed there next. TNN Motorsports proudly presents exclusive live coverage of the Busch Series Grand National Division. Today, the Hardee's Frisco 250 from Richmond, Virginia. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Richmond. I'm Mike Joy. It's a beautiful day for racing, about 60 degrees, a little bit of a brisk breeze, but lots of sunshine for the folks here in the grandstand. 56 cars came to try to qualify for 34 spots plus provisionals for this race, and that meant a lot of good cars went home. How good? Dale Earnhardt time trialed 45th and failed to qualify for the first time ever in this series, and so did Tommy Houston, the man whose incredible string of consecutive starts ends at 360. And some top cars had to use provisional spots as well. But first, let's go to the front row and meet the guys who'll start there. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, Robert Presley and David Green occupy Bob Bucher's seats on the front row today. Presley qualified on the outside pole. Of course, he was on the pole last week, but David Green beat him by 1/100th of a second. First time Green's been on the pole in 3 years. Now, David, been a while since you started up front. Can you hold these guys off all day?
Well, we sure hope so. It's a good field. A lot of good cars went home, and Slim Jim Chevrolets ran awful good, and we're going to be a little conservative here at the start. We just need to be around. It hadn't been a good start for me this year, but we're going to turn it around today.
Well, keep your eye on him. He loves his sponsor, Penrose Sausages, but, man, he's hungry for a victory today. Now, somewhere way in the back there is my pal Randy Pemberton. Randy?
We're way back here. 39th starting position, but we're here with Larry Pearson. Larry, you better not make this a habit. Last week you had to go home. What happened in qualifying?
Well, we just didn't have a good setup, to be honest with you. We came up and we practiced. The car felt good, and we made a little change before qualifying, and evidently it wasn't the right move. But, we made change back this morning and went out and ran practice, and we got one of the better cars now, so I'll just have to take my time and get up there as quick as I can.
Okay, he's a two-time series champion in this division. For the record, he's on Goodyear tires. Mike?
Thanks, Randy. The field pretty evenly split between Goodyear and Hoosier here at Richmond. Famous names at the front and the back of the field. We'll have more and get ready to drop the green flag on the Hardee Frisco 250 after this.
Stay tuned for the action here at Richmond while I try to keep my driver ahead of these other guys.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Hardee's Frisco 250 from Richmond is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. By Split Fire, the patented performance spark plug. It only costs more until you use it. And by the new La Quinta Inns. You're not staying at a hotel. You're staying with us.
At Richmond International Raceway, 39 Busch Grand National drivers are set to roll off in the Hardee's Frisco 250. We're just minutes away from starting this race. Joining me is former Winston Cup champ Darrell Waltrip. And Darrell, what do we look for in today's race?
Well, Mike, as I looked at this field of cars, and one of the things that really jumped out at me was the diversity of where all the competitors have come from. There are 23 states, including Canada, represented in the field today, and it kind of made me wonder, where have all the good old boys gone?
Well, there's a couple on the front row, but it gets pretty scattered from there back. In fact, the fast cars are scattered all the way through this field.
Yeah, Mark Martin, I observed practice this morning. Mark Martin is by far and away probably the quickest car I caught in practice today, and he's starting 22nd. We have a camera in his car, so we'll be able to keep up with his progress, which I think will be interesting to see how he does. Also, the Hoosier Goodyear thing again this week. So we have a lot to watch today.
Well, it'll be an anything-goes kind of race, we expect, that's for sure. Let's bring you up to speed on what's been happening in the first two races of the Busch Grand National Series. Here's the Haviland update. 1 week ago, the Busch Grand National Series had its second race of the season, the Goodwrench 200 in Rockingham. The black unsponsored number 99 of Robert Presley had the pole and held off Mark Martin in the early going. Lap 22, this multi-car pileup took out David Green, Dave Rezendes, and Dale Jarrett, and left Dale Earnhardt with a lot of damage to his Chevrolet. Earnhardt retired to the garage looking like this soon afterward. Martin's Winn-Dixie Ford took the lead from Robert Presley. He would lead 3 different times. Harry Gann, the Green Mannheim Auctions number 7, would race Presley for the front spot. And how about this? In the blue car, Randy LaJoie. In white, Terry Labonte. Give a little, not take any. Joe Bessie got a close-up look at the TNN billboard in turn 3 and retired with damage to his car. They even crashed under the caution. Jim Bound got tipped into Mark Martin. Martin had to pit for repairs that dropped him out of the lead grouping. Old and new faces racing together. Mike Wallace with rookie Dennis Setzer, all in the top 10. Once Hermie Sadler got rid of the Saturday paper, he finished 3rd, while Terry Labonte's MW Windows Chevy led Harry Gant to the checker by this much. Terry Labonte holds the point lead over Robert Presley, Hermie Sadler, Tom Peck, and Chad Little. That's the way things stand coming here to Richmond International Raceway. This fast 3/4-mile oval. It'll play host to the Busch Grand National and Winston Cup and a lot of different racing series this season. We'll take you through the starting grid in a moment.
Stay tuned. Don't go away. We're fixing to show this 44 car how to go around Richmond Speedway.
Introducing the Grand Marshal of Fire Engines here at Richmond. And with the command given, we'll have a look at the starting lineup for today's Hardee's Frisco 250. Brought to you by Sears Die Hard. David Green erases Harry Gant's track record set in 1988. Robert Presley, winner here in 92, shares the front row. Joe Nemechek, 1992 Busch champion, inside row 2 in his own car. And Randy LaJoie, who ran 4th last week at Rockingham. In row 3, Kenny Wallace was the runner-up here 2 years ago. He'll start 5th. Jason Keller, youngster from South Carolina, had a great run. He starts 6th. 7th is last week's winner, Terry Labonte, and the current point leader. 8th, a 4-time winner in Busch runs here at Richmond, Harry Gant. Going 9th, Jimmy Spencer makes his 5th Busch Series start at this track. And in the 5th row, Roy Payne has his 2nd straight top 10 qualifying effort. Row number 6, Shauna Robinson has a good qualifying run in the Ed Ferree car. And Dave Rezendes makes his 8th start at Richmond. Row 7, Dennis Setzer finished 9th last week at Rockingham. And Elton Sawyer, who has 4 top 10 finishes here. Row number 8, Hermie Sadler is 3rd in the Busch Series points. And Ronald Cooper makes his first start here since 1990. Tim Fedewa, the sophomore driver from Michigan, shares row number 9 with Randy Porter, who comes back after a hard lick into the Rockingham wall last week. Johnny Benson, the defending ASA champion, is in row 10, along with Joe Bessie, who finished 8th here last September. Row 11, Bobby Dotter was 6th here last year, and Mark Martin looks for his 3rd win in a row at Richmond. Row 12, Kirk Shelmerdie makes his 3rd start, and Stevie Reeves, USAC Midget champ. Randy McDonald from Canada in a new car, and Dirk Stevens from the NASCAR Northwest. Kevin LePage from Vermont, and Chad Little, 5th in the point standings. Ricky Craven, last year's point standing runner-up, and Mike Garvey, one of the rookie contenders. Doug Hebron, former modified standout, and Mike Wallace, who is 7th in points. Rodney Combs in the Richard Petty car, and Jim Bound makes his 5th start at Richmond. Tracy Leslie finished 2nd here last September, and Tom Peck 4th in the points. Used provisionals, so did Mike McLaughlin, the former modified champ, and Mike Stefanik makes his 2nd start of the season. Larry Pearson used the champions provisional to take over starting spot number 39. We begin to roll off for the first of the pace laps. And we ride along with Mark Martin today, the Winn-Dixie Ford. There's the race cam over Mark's shoulder. If you look at what he'll see of Richmond Raceway, right now he sees Joe Bessie straight ahead. And look at the other business end of Mark's operation. That's the foot cam, Mark's Winn-Dixie Ford. And also the rear bumper cam. Moving on Mark's car, that's Stevie Reeves. You see just behind Mark. Richmond International used to be a little flat fairgrounds half mile, but now it's nearly super speedway status, 3/4 of a mile around. 14-degree bank in the corners, 8 degrees down the front stretch. There's just a little bit of banking for drainage in the back straightaway. Today's tire roll, of course. 4 right side tires can be changed, plus the 2 that are already on the car, and 1 set of left side tires. That's all they're allowed. Darryl, that'll be interesting because some of the teams in practice were reporting more wear on the left side than on the right.
Yeah, that could be a problem for these guys today. They're going to have to take care of the tires. Some of those guys that are back in there are going to try to work hard to get to the front are really going to have to think about what they're doing to the tires on the car.
Weather today, 56 degrees. A lot less humidity than we had this morning when the temperature was down, hovering around the freezing mark. But no snow to shovel here in Richmond, Virginia, unlike most of the north and even to the west of here, where they got clobbered once again.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day.
39 cars will start this race. It'll go 250 laps on the 3/4 mile. Mark Martin set the race record here last September. The first race run at this distance. This used to be a 200-lap event. Let's reemphasize that tire rule is under caution. That's what they can change for the caution periods. They can change as many tires under green as they wish.
Tire management right now is a big factor on these smaller racetracks like Richmond, particularly with the tire wars going on. You know, everybody's coming now with Goodyear, Hoosier, both coming with the softest tire they can come with to get the most speed out of it. So tire management is another aspect of this race we've got to keep up with.
Take an extra pace lap here. A bit of debris up in turn number 2. Of the 56 cars that came here, 36 were on Goodyear, 20 were on Hoosier. And that ratio stayed pretty constant for qualifying in that there are 26 Goodyear-mounted cars in the race and 13 on the Hoosier tires.
And, that, you know, that's a big change, Mike, because in the past couple of races, it's been all Goodyear and only a couple of 3 cars on Hoosier. The balance is starting to come, and I think we'll see that as we get to some of the smaller racetracks.
For more on tires, here's Glenn.
Well, guys, I asked several of the pit crews and crew chiefs down here what they look for in tire wear. How long could they go on the tires? Some of them said as much as 70 laps. Some of them said 50 laps. Some of them said the tires went away after 20 laps. Not necessarily tire wear, but the left side tires start graining up, allows the car to push up in the racetrack, makes it feel like the tires are worn out. So they really don't know until they get going for a while. Also, we have a report that Larry Pearson has more problems, not only not making the race, he also has a tire going down. I really expected to see him come down pit road, but maybe he doesn't know it yet.
He was one of 5 drivers who used a provisional spot to get in this field. 4 provisionals plus 1 for a former Busch Series champion, not already qualified, and that's where Larry lines up in the Stanley Tools car.
I might make an observation, Mike, that these cars are starting with very, very low air pressure. As little as the air in the right side tires is 25 pounds and down to 17 or 18 in the left sides. That makes the car feel very, very funny for a lap or 2, giving a feeling, a false feeling sometimes of a flat tire. So we'll have to wait and see for Larry, see what the situation is.
Only 1 round of qualifying here, as at Rockingham, a measure instituted by NASCAR to help cut costs, but it has sent a lot of good cars home. Rockingham qualifying with 1 round, 1 lap. Here at Richmond, they had 2 laps of qualifying, but no second round.
And we're off. Green flag.
For 250 laps, it is Robert Presley assuming command as the field fans out into turn number 1. There's Mark Martin on the move. Next to Stevie Reeves in car number 60.
Well, right now it's when those tire pressures are low, and it's going to take a couple laps to get a little heat in the tires. But I tell you, I expect Robert to really pull off from the field right now.
Presley in front, David Green in second, Joe Nemechek third, Randy LaJoie in fourth.
You know, Mike, right now is you can get on that outside. If your car is hooked up real good, you can really make some forward progress if your car will hook up on the outside, because everybody's really hugging that yellow line right now.
Third race that Robert Presley has led at Richmond. Let's show you what happened on the start here. A little replay. Watch Mark Martin in number 60.
that could do some real damage to the front of that car. I don't know what happened. I'd say Joe Bessie missed the gear on the start of the race, but just from best I can tell, it didn't hurt Mark's car any.
Mark Martin moving up to challenge the top 20. There's Bobby Goddard just ahead.
You see him taking that outside look, Mike. Right now, like I said, if you can get hooked up on that outside, you can really move forward in a hurry.
Martin trying to do that. Bessie is just ahead of him.
There's a theory that a lot of racers use about the outside. It is quicker sometimes, but the guy on the inside has the advantage of 4 more wheels if he has a problem.
8 wheels corner better than 4.
8 are better than 4.
Right. Bessie now on the bottom, and there's a look out the rear-mounted bumper cam of Mark Martin's car at Bobby Goddard. Go back up front. Have a look at your leaders. There's a change there as Joe Nemechek drops into second spot. He's going to run about 10 or 12 Busch races this year. They painted the car in that shade of blue, and their Atlanta car will be black. They said they ran out of blue paint.
Well, he was quick in practice this morning. I tell you, I'm surprised that David Green is hanging with those 2 guys the way he is, because in practice this morning, he seemed to be a little slower than they were. Right now, he looks as good. But that 20 car is quick, and that 8 car is quick also. So the cars that were good in practice this morning are going to the front and taking off and leading the rest of it.
That 8 car, the black car, 5th in line is Kenny Wallace, the TIC Financial Ford. Here's Martin working under Tim Fedowa, now for a top 20 spot.
Yeah, Mark will march right to the front. I don't think that little bump he took on the start will hurt anything, and that car is quick, and the thing about it stays quick. It doesn't slow down.
Martin moving on Ronald Cooper out of Georgia in the Johnny Cotton Chevy. He's now running 16th after starting 22nd. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Richmond. New leader, Joe Nemechek, has moved out in front of Robert Presley. David Green in 3rd. They're side by side for 4th on the right side of your screen. That's where Kenny Wallace has gotten underneath the Phenaloop Ford of Randy LaJoy.
Yeah, Kenny Wallace's car is really working good, and he's making steady progress right to the front. The 2 Hoosier cars are running 1st and 2nd, and Nemechek was good this morning, and I think he must be a little bit better than Robert right now.
Let's show you how Joe Nemechek got the lead. Turn 1.
Yeah, you can take that low line. It's a D-shaped front straightaway, and if you can get off of turn 4 there, take that low line, you can take the guy's line away getting into turn 1 and make a nice clean pass.
So out of turn 2, Nemechek the leader. Presley in 2nd, Kenny Wallace now 3rd, David Green in 4th, Randy LaJoy is 5th. And a real good run for Jason Keller, who started 6th, running right there, holding off Terry Labonte and Harry Gant. Single file, that pack heads down into turn 1 yet again.
And it won't be very long, Mike, until over here on the back side of your picture, you're going to start seeing a little black car showing up. And it won't be number 3 either.
Well, Mark Martin's about a straightaway behind the leader. And he's battling Herbie Sadler for 15th. Let's take you back there. Now there's the front pack.
There comes Mark on the outside right there. He's just picking them off one at a time and doing it in fine style. He's coming right on to the front.
On past Roy Payne and Dave Resendiz. Resendiz on the left of your screen. How is Mark running? Let's check with Randy Pemberton.
Guys, I did talk to him before the race, and he said he was going to take his time going up through the pack. The reason being, he's going to run this car next week. It's not that he loves it so much, but it's the only car that he has that will work for him. So he's going to use this car next week. He's going to take his time. Heck, he's doing a heck of a job. He's up almost inside the top 10 after starting 27th.
Yeah, look at Kenny Wallace. He just worked his way right under Robert Presley there, and that little Ford's working pretty good right now. I'm telling you, I think he'll have the lead here before long.
Worked real well last week until it expired.
Yeah, you know, that's a shame. Those are good guys, and Kenny's doing a great job in the car. But the thing has engine failure too regularly. It seemed like almost every time it gets to run real good. I know last year with Burton driving the car, same deal.
That's the 8 car, Phil Martossi out of Nashville. Kenny Wallace driving. Back at 4th place, Randy LaJoy is now trying to hold David Green. Jason Keller, the green car of Harry Gant, and Terry Labonte right there. Boy, Labonte's been strong.
I'll tell you, they got that little Busch car really working good, and of course, these kind of races are ideal for Terry Labonte. He is not a real hard-charging, aggressive type driver, and when tire management is a factor, I believe Terry Labonte's at his best.
He is the Busch Series point leader, car number 14. Gant had a look underneath there on Jason Keller, left him just a little too much room.
Let me just say, Mike, I don't mean that Terry drives hard. He'll drive as hard as anybody, but he's also the kind of guy that he owns that car. And so he's going to drive it with a little bit more care than maybe somebody that didn't own it.
Battle here for 4th place. And that kind of Harry Gant dipping to the inside there. Not this time.
No, Harry's on Hoosier tires, and so far it looks like I've got a toss-up between the two tire companies, Goodyear and the Hoosier tires. Both tire companies seem to be doing about the same here right now.
Here's another man on the move. Mike Wallace has just gotten through this whole pack of traffic in Barry Owens' FDP Brakes car. He started back in 32nd and is now running up to 15th.
Well, that's a great move, and of course, if you get a shot at the right side of that thing, he didn't do it without a little finesse. He worked his way up there.
Right, he earned it. He's about 10 seconds behind the leader.
That's a good car, and Mike does a good job in it. That car is capable of winning this race.
Wallace, the middle of the racing brothers. Here's the battle for 6th place. Harry Gant keeps shoving that nose underneath Jason Keller. Now he's under.
Yeah, Harry's car looks like it's running awful well to me. He did in practice this morning, and I got on him last week about that thing skipping on him, that old bad carburetor he had on there. And I think he may have gotten it fixed. Looks like he's running awful smooth right now.
So far, so good.
And our pole setter, he's holding his own pretty well, too. David Green, Owensboro, Kentucky lad there.
David Green in 5th place. Oh, up in the wall goes Tom Peck and one other car. That's a Mike Stefanik. Stefanik still nursing a fractured ankle from the Daytona crash in the Rexford Galliano Luxair Ford.
I don't think he did it any good then, because he hit that thing pretty hard. We can't see the right side of the car, but it went into the wall pretty hard.
That'll be the first caution of the day for Mike Stefanik, former national modified champion. He is the track record holder here at Richmond for all cars. Did it in the NASCAR modified. Let's see if we can figure what happened. It already had.
Yeah, it looks like he got the car spun around, and Tom Peck went between he and the wall. So Tom both of them did a really good job for that not to be any worse than this. Well, as I say that, I look at Tom Peck's car, and it took a pretty good lick right there.
Stefanik is on pit road. There's been a debris up there. That's the rear bumper cover off Tom Peck's car.
Mike, if you watch the modifieds run here, which they do occasionally, and you see Stefanik and Mike McLaughlin, the way they run modifieds around here, you'd think they ought to be able to lap the field in just about anything they set down in. They put on one whale of a show in modifieds here, but both of them, in all honesty, are struggling just a little bit with these Busch cars.
Well, the Busch cars are some 700 pounds heavier than the modifieds, and they have narrower tires, a whole different kind of car to drive. We'll talk about that when we come back after this word. Richmond, Virginia, Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton on pit road today. We're under the first caution of the day for Mike Stefanik's spin after a contact with Tom Peck. Next week, a TNN special will be at Daytona International Speedway for Bike Week 94 and bring you the Daytona 200 live. The Superbikes, kind of the stock car racing of the motorcycle racing world, where they put on a great show.
I tell you, that I don't know how those guys ride those motorcycles through the trial at Daytona on 2 wheels at 180 miles an hour. I had one of them one time tell me, well, I said, what happens when that thing gives you a problem or anything goes wrong with it? He said, it spits you right over the handlebars.
Yep.
And it does.
It'll do it. Say hi to Buddy Baker, who will be with us through most of these telecasts on TNN this year, but he had a full house at the Buck Baker Driving School in Rockingham this weekend, so Buddy's tied up playing professor this weekend. We'll see him at Martinsville in 2 weeks.
Entrepreneur Baker.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're in Tom Peck's pit. You can see the damage on the car there. The whole rear casing of the car is gone. What they're working on right now is just trying to keep the fenders off the tires. He has radioed in and said that he thinks that the toe end's knocked out. I don't think they're under the hood right now. I don't think they're going to have time to adjust it. He wants to get back out before the restart, maybe on the next caution. Right now, they're just trying to keep him going best they can.
Restart green flag, and Peck will beat these cars to turn 1, but may get lapped in the back straightaway.
Yeah, he probably will. Mike, now it's kind of a time when everybody gets their second breath and says, well, my car's pretty good, or I need to make adjustments or whatever. And also, the tires take a little different attitude at this point in time.
Mark Martin back straightaway, working rookie driver Dennis Setzer, the Alliance Training Center's number 59. And it looks like Mark's going to follow Terry Labonte back up front.
Dennis Setzer is doing a good job in that car today. Good to see him running well. That's a good car, and he can. We know he can get the job done with everything. Yeah, I think Tom's got a lot of damage. He's probably going to have to bring the car in to work on it.
As the field streams by him, this battle continues, and they straight little paint there.
Yeah, I think that's that 8 wheels versus a 4 theory. I think Mark was using there.
And look at this, Jimmy Spencer in a Pontiac right behind Mark Martin.
Well, Mark's got his hands full.
Coming and going.
He's got it coming at him both ways. Dennis Setzer, he's putting that car down on that bottom yellow line, and that thing looks pretty good right now.
That's right. Setzer's repassed Martin. Here's Martin going to the outside, and David Green dropped 2 spots on the restart. Harry Gant and Jason Keller got by the Slim Jim 44.
What happens, Mike, is, as I said, under the caution, the tires cool back off, the tire pressure drops down a little bit, and also the tires go through a little bit of a curing process after they've been run 20 or 30 laps and they're cooled off. And the cars do make they make big changes after a caution. Some for the better, some for the worse.
Sure. Now it's Terry Labonte, who was so strong in the early run, and now Labonte's going to give up a couple of spots to Mark Martin and Dennis Setzer.
Yeah. It just kind of goes that way. And the tires are so finicky right now because they're so soft, and everybody's trying to get the most speed out of them. They're also trying to be conservative. I know people get tired of us talking about tires. I get tired of talking about tires. But it's what makes these things go around the racetrack, and tire management is going to be critical all year long.
Now here's Setzer coming back up on David Green. Couldn't look to pass that time, and Mark Martin may slip away just a bit here.
Yeah, that view seems to be getting a little hard. It's a little harder to see who's behind him, so he's definitely pulling away.
37 of 250 laps complete. 1 caution flag so far.
Jason Keller's doing a great job today, Mike. He's held his own. He started 6th, and he's running right there. And of course, there goes Mark by him on the outside, but still, he's doing a really good job in that car today.
Good run for the young driver from out of Greenville, Spartanburg area. Martin up on the outside. And comes right up against Randy LaJoy. Doesn't waste any time.
No, you know, that's the fun part about a car that really is handled well. You can drive it on the outside, you can drive it on the inside, and it just makes racing a lot of fun when you're driving a car like that. Of course, it makes it a headache for everybody else. I mean, they're not real happy to see this car run that well, but that car handles well, and Mark does a great job in it. You know, Mark owned that car. He started that team on his own the first part of last year and really didn't have a lot of success. The car ran pretty well, but didn't have a lot of success. Jack Roush took that team over, bought it from Mark, started to maintain that car, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, every race they finished last year, they won. This battle is 4.5 seconds behind the leader, and it's Keller, 23 years old, up on the outside of Randy LaJoy.
What's happening, Mike, is everybody tries to keep that car right on that yellow line. That's the fastest way around, but then that upper groove starts to work in. The cars will run a little quicker up there because they're running a little bit freer coming off the corner. They get a little bit more speed down the straightaway. And people are starting to recognize that. They saw Mark go around on the outside, and now other cars are trying that outside line and making passes.
And like you said, the one thing you don't always have up on the outside is room.
Yeah. Well, just up out of the groove there, up above the black marks on the racetrack, really pick up a lot of rubber and debris up there from these softer tires. They really throw a lot of loose rubber up there, and when they do, if you get out of the groove and in that stuff, you just about go straight into the wall.
Watching this battle from 6th on back. As the race rolls on at Richmond, we asked Randy LaJoie about the success he's had this year and how tough it's been for him.
Well, this is one hard division to break into. I'm just glad we've run up front in every single race we've been in. We've only been in 2 of them. We led both of them, Daytona and Rockingham. You know, I'm really looking forward to this year. I think we have a good shot at winning the championship. I just want to get a win under our belt right away here, hopefully here at Richmond, and go on.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Hardee's Frisco 250 is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
We are under caution. Something let go on Doug Hebron's car, the Charlie Henderson Food Country USA machine, in a big way down in turn number 3. Second caution of the day. Ricky Craven's been on pit road. So has Bobby Dotter, Kurt Shelmerdine, Tom Peck, Rodney Combs, Larry Pearson, Johnny Benson, Joe Bessie have all been to the pit. So has Randy McDonald. But most of the leaders stayed out on the racetrack.
Yeah, if they're going to use, you know, 4 rights and 2 lefts, they're going to have to go a little further than this before they start putting tires in. So everybody's going to think about saving as much as they can.
There's the former modified and super modified ace from Liverpool, New York.
Boy, that thing went up in a ball of smoke. Fire flying out from under.
Yeah, a lot of flames out from under the car. Doug looks okay.
It's,
well, let's meet him. Here's Randy.
Boy, what happened out there? Just blow up?
Yeah, we were just going along one by one, picking them off. You know, the car was really good. Food Country GTS, Mike Barrett Chevy was good. Chris Carrier just gave me an awesome car today, and we were kind of taking it easy, just picking them off one by one, and then going into turn 3, the motor just let go. So another short day, but there's other ones. Up next time.
Got caught in a big wreck at Daytona early. Didn't qualify at Rockingham, and here having a short day.
You ever notice those upstate New York guys? They never say she blowed up. I don't quite understand that.
Glenn Jarrett.
Well, we're standing by with Gil Martin. And Gil, the car looks awfully good so far. I know you're concerned about tire wear. What are you telling Kenny?
Well, right now I'm just telling him not to abuse the tires because the car is a little bit tight in the center of the corner. So we're trying to just take care of it enough to where the car will get off the corner good until about lap 80 or 90 when we come and get tires.
All right, now, you've got a race driver out there that wants to win. He's real aggressive. He's got a real fast car. Will he really slow down when you tell him to?
He won't slow down, but hopefully he'll take care of it just a little bit because he was eager to get up there to the front, and I know he wants to lead.
Well, he does. He's got an awfully good race car. Like he said, they're looking for tires around lap 80 or 90.
Reminds me of a quote from a championship year Darrell Waltrip when he said, you got to learn to drive slow to be fast.
That's right. Well, slow down and go faster. It's a theory that doesn't make any sense when it comes to racing, but it works. And this is one place where it works. These turns are big enough, and especially going into turn 1 with that tri-oval effect that you have, that swoop down into that corner, that you can overdrive the car, abuse the tires, and actually not go as fast if you'll back off early and get the car in there smooth and get back in the throttle and run up off the corner hard. That's really the key.
And that may be a reason why some of these modified drivers are having a little trouble adapting, because they're used to just launching the car down into the corner.
Yeah, that and the fact that they need about a 15-inch right rear tire. They'd be ready to go.
That helps too. We'll be right back to Richmond. Getting ready to go back to green here at Richmond in a lap or two. Here's the way they're running. Darrell Waltrip's got the radio. See if he can get a word here with Robert Presley.
Yeah, Robert, this is DWTNN. Just checking in with you here, buddy. See how everything's going.
We're in pretty good shape. We're just kind of sitting here going to follow Harry a little bit. Serve these tires and about 100 laps to go. We're going to see what we can do.
Okay, is the car good for you right now? Loose, cushion, tight? What's it doing for you?
We're just a little bit tight right now, but I think as the track gets a little slicker and a little more oil gets down, we're going to be about perfect halfway on.
Okay, buddy, give her a good ride. We'll keep an eye on you.
Robert Presley presently in 4th place. Behind Joe Nemechek, Kenny Wallace, Harry Gant. Right behind Presley comes Mark Martin, Jason Keller. The 59 car, the Alliance car, rookie Dennis Setzer, then David Green, Randy LaJoie, and Terry Labonte. That's the top 20. Advanced Auto Parts, home of PDQ. Parts delivered quick. Helping out with our aerial coverage today. And we'll get 1 lap to go here.
You know, Mike, I love Robert Presley. He's sitting there, he's running 4th, and he was leading the race a little while ago. How's everything going? Oh, everything's just fine. I have no problem. Does he think we're maybe telling the whole world what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
You think he might not tell us the truth? He looks like he is in real good shape.
He's just one of those calm demeanor kind of guys that does his talking with his right foot in the steering wheel and doesn't let a whole lot bother him.
And you have to admit, pretty smart too.
Yeah.
You notice he said, "I'm going to follow Harry."
Yeah, we'll see.
That's his new ride, you know.
That's right, for next year. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, Rodney Combs has pulled the Black Flag Pontiac behind the wall. Rodney, what happened?
Well, it's broke the bolts off the balancer, Glenn. Something freak probably don't happen to anybody all year long, but, you know, I guess this thing's trying to bite us, but it ain't going to get us down. This Black Flag French's car, 43, is going to win here shortly, so this just makes us more determined. It looks like we might be out for today, but we're going to come back and win.
Okay, that's the story, Mike.
Thanks, Glenn. We're back under green. Battle for 3rd. Harry Gant gets underneath Kenny Wallace. Didn't look like a lot of underneath was there. Let's make that 2nd place. 2nd place for Gant.
Yeah, and there goes Robert trying to follow Harry, and
Kenny's not going to get hit the bottom.
I don't think Kenny was up for that.
Of course, that green car at Gant's is easy to see coming up on you.
That's a beautiful car, isn't it? You and Baker like that paint job.
It's in the mind of the beholder, you know.
I've had a lot of good luck in a green car, but I never had a car that green. If you put that thing in the field, the cows will try to eat it.
Another near miss for Mark Martin on that restart.
That's just, Mark's car is just too fast. He gets going too fast, faster than the other guys do. Whoa, that didn't have anything to do with his car there. He got against the fence there.
Running okay now behind Setzer and in front of David Green.
What happens, Mike, is a lot of times under caution, these cars pick up a lot of debris on the tires, and it takes a lap or two to get it knocked off.
Good battle here. Randy LaJoie spotting with Terry Labonte. Labonte at 14. Hermie Sadler in the picture.
Yeah, you know, last week Labonte and LaJoie were fighting with each other too, and that was exciting to watch.
Yeah, we saw it in our Haviland update. It's 9th place at stake here. They traded quite a bit of paint.
LaJoie's drifting back just a little bit. I don't know if he's having trouble with his car, but he's drifting back just a tad here.
That's Elton Sawyer, 38, the Ford credit car, right behind Resendiz.
Yeah, that's one of my former employees. Bob Sutton owns that car. He and a friend of his, and of course Elton is a fine young man. He worked for Bill Davis on the 22 car for the last couple of years, and now he's got an opportunity to get back behind the wheel, and he's doing a pretty darn good job.
Kevin LePage now around the outside of LaJoie. Continues to drift a little back here. Joe Nemechek up front. Let's give you a Napa Field standing update, show you where your favorite driver is after 58 laps. Mark Martin around Jason Keller.
I think Mark had a little build-up on those tires, and I think the car's obviously hooked back up now and going to the front again. But we got us a tremendous race back in the field here.
Several good runs here.
Yeah, you know, right now is when the tires go through that period of transition to where they were real good to where they're not quite as good as they were to where in a few more laps they're not going to be good at all. And we're really going to see the complexion of this race change, I believe.
Interesting to watch Keller here. The quarter panels of that car are blank. Dad Joe owns the car. It's a family operation. Here's another one. Dirk Stevens out of the Northwest started 26th, and he's climbed up to 8th place.
That's an interesting young man. He runs out there in the Northwest Tour. I saw him race at Sears Point and also at Phoenix. A tremendously talented young man, and he's moved to North Carolina, and he's going to run that Busch car this year, and then he plans on moving up to Michigan Cup next year. Looks like he's got a lot of potential.
They've hired Rick Wren as a crew chief, and they're having a real good run here
Pretty
today.
good go of it right now.
Yeah. But look at those two cars completely unsponsored, and yet a lot of good sponsored cars went home from here.
Yeah, well, sometimes when you're unsponsored, you give it all you got and a little bit more, and you give somebody else's too. So
right. Mike Stefanik back in the race after that spin. He brought out the caution at lap 28.
You know, that 35 car, for a car that had a broken rock arm, maybe they went behind the wall and repaired it, but right now he's running pretty tough.
2 laps down. But still in the hunt. Randy Porter.
Track gets slick, tires get worn down. Sometimes losing a cylinder can be an advantage, believe it or not.
Well, all that power's no good if you can't get it to the ground.
That's the whole thing. He can run the thing wide open through the corner and get the gas pedal wide open quicker than the other guy can. He's going to pass our leader here before too long.
There's Dirk Stevens. That's a Ford. And here's a look at his progress through the event. He started 26, just started and kept on coming.
Yeah, he has made great progress. That's a great run for him. It's funny when you see a car that plain, isn't it? Just a little 15 on the side of it and nothing else. Makes you wonder.
But there are a bunch of them. There's David Green, working underneath Jason Keller.
Boy, did they ever get close. I didn't realize we got that close.
Closer.
I guess so. They didn't touch, so they're not as close as you can get. I think David Green's driving a good, smart race, too. He's not abusing the car, and he's still right there, kind of holding his own.
Dalton Sawyer just behind these two. And then Kevin LePage. Look at that green number 71 moving up. LePage just took a spot away from Terry Labonte. Now Mike Wallace is moving up on Labonte.
Yeah, Terry's opening the door. There's going to be a whole bunch of them go by him here if he doesn't get that thing back down on the inside.
Dave Resendiz with the T4.
Yes, Resendiz. Last week I had a terrible time getting his name out, and I know him very well. It's Dave Resendiz. And I apologize, Dave, for not being able to say Resendiz last week, but I was nervous. And you were making me that way.
Tim Fido moves up a notch, the Pro-Cal Ford, number 55. Another car looking for a major sponsor.
Yeah, he's a good young kid, too, and a good, hard driver, and I think he'll find a sponsor.
Roy Payne comes to pit road at 72 laps. 2 caution flags, and we're back under green here at Richmond, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Richmond, where Joe Nemechek leads. Harry Gant trying to work his way around Randy Porter, Randy McDonald, and Randy LaJoy. The 3 Randys have slipped to the tail end of the lead lap here. As Nemechek moves in. No lap traffic, but they're all racing for position. And LaJoy becomes the first of the lead pack cars anyway to drift to the tail end. Tire wear?
Yeah, I think so. This is right at that point where 75, 80 laps is what I was hearing in practice. The tires are worn out, and I don't know what everybody's going to do. Somebody's going to have to make a big gamble here and come in and put 4 on up under the green. Looks to me like that 15 car, buddy. Now he is moving on, and the tire wear don't seem to be bothering him a little bit.
Now the 3rd place car, Dick Stevens out of Tumwater, Washington. Kenny Wallace, the TIC Financial Ford battling him, and Mark Martin in sight.
You know, I know we've got a couple of Chevrolets out front, but the Ford cars this year are impressive. They are all running well and doing it. They're pretty impressive with their 6-cylinder engines in their cars.
This battle's 3.5 seconds behind the leader, and green flag pit stops are beginning. Jimmy Spencer's been in, and Randy LaJoy comes in. Here's Randy.
Well, you guys want to know about tire wear. These tires just came off of Roy Payne's car. You can see the cord here. This is the right front. Now, there's speculation that this team could be running a little bit too much camber in this tire. Other than that, I talked to a Goodyear official. They say the tire is about had at about 75 laps. So this is the right front. You can see she's gone away, Darrell.
Yeah, that's what we saw, even on the Cup cars, about 75 to 80 laps. And for some odd reason, the inside of the tire is wearing more than the outside of the tire. We played with camera this morning. It didn't seem to correct the problem. And once that happens, the car picks up a big push. In other words, you can't get the car to turn. And that's the cars that are going up the hill right now.
Hermie Sadler, I think, well, the surface of that tire kind of looked like the surface of the moon, but like you say, once you push up the hill, then you start picking up the rubber that's already come off other people's cars, and there's just chunks of it all over that tire.
Yeah, you just lose grip. You got no traction, you got no grip, and you know, there's a factor in there, there's a point in there when it becomes dangerous, but by the time it gets down to that point, the driver knows it, and he knows he's got to come in like Terry Labonte's doing right now.
Labonte and Hermie Sadler both on pit road. Here's Glenn.
Guys, we're down in the garage area. Larry Pearson has pulled his car down here. You're looking up under the rear end of the car. They're changing the rear gear. There's only one reason you ever do that in a race. It's burned out. The bad news is they borrowed the gear from somebody. Larry, just not a good weekend.
No, last weekend wasn't any good, and this weekend didn't start out any better. But, you know, we didn't qualify. We had to take a provisional, and we made a lot of changes this morning. The car was running pretty good. I mean, a lot better than what it has been. We moved up through the field a little bit. That burned rear and burned up in the thing, so I don't know what we're going to have to do to shake this money, you know, shake this monkey off our back. But, you know, maybe, hopefully people can they'll stand behind us.
This is a good team. They'll get things turned around. Better luck next week, Larry.
Yeah, they're going to run the whole season. Tracy Leslie and Ricky Craven come in for tires, and does Mike Wallace. If you joined us late and you're wondering where Darrell Waltrip is, he did not qualify. Time trialed 45th, first Busch race he has ever failed to qualify for. Dale Jarrett also went home.
You're exactly right, Mike, but it was this race last fall that I didn't qualify for. This is the only Busch race I ever did, and this is the same way Earnhardt was this time. He didn't make the race. See, I was going to tell you, I looked down through here and I saw Doug's, and I saw David's, and I saw Dennis's, and I saw Dirk's, but I didn't see a Dale anywhere. Dale Jarrett or Dale Earnhardt.
Here's David Green, driving for Bobby Labonte in the Slim Jim Chevy. And this should look like most of the pit stops we've seen so far.
Yeah, then most everybody will probably take two right side tires just because they can get them on and get in and out a little bit quicker than if they tried to take four right now. Oh, they're going for four.
They took around a wedge out of the left rear.
Car must, you know, it's a little tight. Of course, he'd be complaining about it being tight with the tire wear, but the front of the car just really takes off once the tires go.
And the cars that are on new tires are rockets.
Oh, yeah, this is really, it's dangerous to the point to where they're so much faster, almost a second faster than the guys that are on worn tires, and it really makes them try to work traffic in a way that just puts you in jeopardy a lot of times.
Chad Little comes to pit road as you're watching the leader, Joe Nemechek. Got Randy Porter right behind him. Porter's car bogged down on the start of the race. They thought they'd broken a rocker arm, but eventually the engine cleared up, and he's running right with the lead pack. Donna Robinson there in the Polaroid car. Jason Keller just ahead of the leader. And pretty soon you'll see David Green just drive right by this group and Tracy Leslie because they're on new tires. Under Green, pit stops continue. Stevie Reeves is in. Randy McDonald. Mike McLaughlin. And while we were away, Kenny Wallace, Kevin LePage, Mark Martin, Dennis Setzer, Jason Keller all made pit stops under the green. And right now, the front three cars have one thing in common.
Yeah, they're on Hoosier tires, and looks like the wear on the Hoosier cars are just maybe a little bit better than they are on the Goodyears, but they can't give up this much speed very much longer. Even though their cars might not be handling bad or the tires may not be worn out, they're giving up too much track position right now to stay out there very much longer.
Some break from Jason Keller. They had a lot of trouble on the right front of that car, and a pit stop took him 47.5 seconds. Now look at David Green, left side of your screen here in 44 as he moves around Tim Feedaway. He's on new tires, and it's a good bit back to Joe Nemechek. You're right, so the cars on fresh tires are just really sprinting away.
They are. If you could keep new tires on your car all the time, you'd be a real hero. That's, you know, this is I guess from NASCAR's perspective and the scorer's perspective, this is kind of a nightmare too. If we didn't have all these computers and everybody up here helping us keep up with who's doing what, well, these green flag pit stops, man, it's hard to know who's leading and who's running where.
Dave Resendiz is on pit road, and Mike Stefanik has taken his car behind the wall.
You know, Dirk Stevens, he's moved up to second place. That's him. You see going down into turn 1 right there, and that's just a tremendous run for that young man.
Stevens going to run up to 20 of the Busch races this season, contend for Rookie of the Year. They now call that the Winston Transcontinental Series that he used to race in back on the West Coast.
Wonder why.
7.5 seconds first to second, back to Harry Gant. Joe Nemechek, Dirk Stevens, Harry Gant. Now Stevens, 7.5 seconds behind Nemechek.
Here comes the leader.
Joe Nemechek, graduate of the Busch Grand National Series, going to run 10 or a dozen races there this year. We'll be here, we'll be at Atlanta, and now we'll be in front of Glenn Jarrett for his pit stop.
Well, Mike, he stretched this thing a long way. He went 100 laps and was still running pretty doggone good. As you said, Darrell, he is on Hoosier tires. This will be, right now, they're just looking at a 2-tire stock. That's all they're going to do is put right side. Now they are coming around to the left side. They do have the ratchet wrench out here. Looks like they wanted to make the chassis adjustment. They haven't done that yet. They're working on the tires right now. Everything's going pretty smoothly so far. A little bit longer stop than they'd like under green, but those 4 fresh Hoosier tires will really set in the trailer. No chassis adjustment. He's down and away. 29.1 seconds. Not bad under green.
Bobby Dotter, Tim Fedowa, Mike Garvey are in. Dirk Stevens is getting serviced at the turn 4 end of pit road, and the 99 coming in is Robert Presley, who looked like there's Gant going fast on the pit lane. Presley looked like he wanted to come in a lap ago, and
yeah, he missed pit lane, Mike. He came down there a little too hot. He hit that little bit of stay dry and debris there, and he almost hit the end of that wall and had to go around again, so that's going to hurt him.
4 tire change for Dirk Stevens. Here's Harry Gant. Randy.
Well, it's 2 right sides so far for Harry Gant. He wants 1 round of wedge out. The 4 Hoosiers going on, just to give you an idea of how long this car has slowed down up to lap 100. He was running about 22.60 to 23 seconds. Now he's down to about 24.80 before he pitted there.
Thanks, Randy. Roy Payne is in for his second stop. Dirk Stevens, 37.8 seconds. Now, these pit stops are much slower than in Winston Cup racing because they're only allowed 2 air wrenches in the pit. So the crewman who changes the right side tires comes over, the left sides aren't already off. He's got to do the whole thing himself.
Yeah, their pit stops are a little bit slower. Plus, they're not accustomed to making 4 tire changes like the Winston Cup regulars are. So a number of things happen here. The Hoosier cars were able to go 100 laps, where the Goodyear cars could only go 75 or 80 laps. So from tires perspective, that puts the Hoosier cars in a much better shape. They're going to have more tires at the end of the race, and that's going to have a big impact on the race.
Joe Bessie is on Hoosiers. He is the race leader. He stopped on lap 53 under the caution, so his cars that stopped in are now rising to the front. Jimmy Spencer, just 2 cars back, was one of those. Bessie has Delco battery on the car today, but really needs some help. He needs a full season sponsor, or they're not going to be able to continue perhaps past Atlanta. The young driver from Maine was really a force to be reckoned with the latter half of last season.
Yeah, he was awesome at Rockingham and then at Atlanta. He could have easily won either one of those 2 races, and has really done a great job with the limited amount of funds he's had to work with.
Runs his own race team, and they badly need a sponsor to be able to continue. That's an up-front running team. 107 laps complete here at Richmond of 250. We'll be right back. At lap 111, a hard crash coming out of turn number 2 will put us under the 3rd caution flag of the day. Dirk Stevens had spun, and Joe Bessie, the race leader, was trying to miss him coming out of turn number 2. As you can see, did not succeed.
No, that was a hard impact. Spotter must not have told Joe that he was there, and man, he nailed him real good. And, you know, the sad thing is, I mean, here's a guy in 97 that we just talked about needing sponsorship. Here's another guy that has no sponsor, and they run into each other. Watch this. This is a hard lick.
Gant goes low. Terry Labonte goes high. You know, Dirk, it looked like, had put the car in gear to back up, Darrell.
I think he may have. I think he must have got the car cranked, and it was trying to get the thing backed up out of the way. But Joe looked like he should have been going to the outside, and it looked like spotter maybe told him that the car was moving and he took the wrong line.
Not sure if there was a car. No, there was nobody next to him.
No, that's a hard lick. I mean, he hit him running wide open.
Well,
several cars, you know, got out of shape, but nobody seemed to have a problem until Bessie come around there, and then he just nailed it.
Bessie was the race leader, and I'm sure he was trying to get back to the line and keep a number of those cars a lap down.
Yeah,
that made green flag stops.
That's probably was something that he was trying to do, Mike. Come to think of it, he was trying to run back to the caution, not let some of those cars on new tires beat him back, and that's really sad because, like I told you, that's like both those guys are underfinanced, trying to make a good show to get them a sponsor, and it's kind of like playing cards with no money. Don't draw the right card.
No. Bessie said in a press release here that Atlanta may be his final event of the season. Running as Your Logo Here Racing. Trying to attract a major sponsor, although they do have some help from Delco Battery and Here's Your Tires. Pit stops for the leaders now. Here's Glenn.
Well, David Green has brought the Slim Jim Chevrolet in for a right side tire change and to fill up with fuel. I guess they decided to take advantage of this caution. Go ahead and use the other two, or the two right sides that they can change under caution. In fact, he made a tire change under green, so he's still got a lot of tires to change under caution. But they did only put two right sides on, filled it up with fuel, so he should be in good shape.
Now, Glenn, that'll leave him a full set, two lefts and two rights to change under caution. This is his first caution flag pit stop. Ricky Craven makes a stop and rolls back out.
Well, Mike, that caution did about what we thought it'd do. It left only a few guys in the lead lap. What do we got? 6 cars in the lead lap, and 31, 56, 60, 87, and the 7 and the 64 in the lead lap. Everybody else is at least 1 lap down.
That's unofficial for NASCAR scoring, but that'll be Tom Peck, Ronald Cooper, Mark Martin, Joe Nemechek, Harry Gant, and Jimmy Spencer on the lead lap. We'll sort it out in a moment. They're cleaning up in turn 2 and got a little bit of confusion as to position of the pace car and some of the drivers who are on the tail end of the lead lap. The leader crashed, Joe Bessie, as part of this caution. The new leader, Tom Peck, we'll try to sort this out here in a moment. 2 weeks from today, no, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we'll be at Martinsville, Virginia. Sunday, March 20th, the Miller Genuine Draft 500 to bring you the Busch Grand National action there. Up at Clay Earl's beautiful short track that thinks it's a super speedway. And why not? A beautiful place to go racing, or feed the ducks, or tend the shrubs, or whatever there is to do.
You know, Mike, is always one of my favorite places to race because it's surrounded by grandstand, and you feel like when you take the green flag, you drive off into just a pool of people. They just seem like they're right out on the racetrack with you, and it's one of the best short tracks in the country.
Great place to watch a race too if you happen to be around the South Central Virginia area. Let's get a recap on a couple of the drivers who were involved in that incident. Here's Randy.
Well, we saw both Joe Bessie and Dirk walk into the medical center. They both appeared okay. We'll try and get a word with them, but as far as their injuries go, they don't look like they're in any trouble, guys.
Thanks, Randy. Here's the man scoring, saying is the leader, Tom Peck, in the Steve Grissom Channel Lock Chevy.
You know, poor old Tom, I mean, he got the thing beat all up there on the start of the race, and we thought he was probably out of the race, and here he finds himself leading. So you never know how these things are going to go. Harry Gant's been in and out of the pit 2 or 3 times, making some pretty radical chassis adjustments. 2 or 3 rounds down right rear, 2 or 3 rounds up left rear. He must have a pretty serious push. And Dennis Sesser's been in the pit here for quite a while. So this caution is certainly shaking things up.
Yeah, there may be as few as 4 cars on the lead lap because of all the pitting under green. Here's Glenn.
Well, Darrell mentioned that Dennis Setzer is in the pits. He had a really good run going, but they've got a problem with the engine. It seems that the ceramic portion of one of the spark plugs is broken off, and they're having a heck of a time getting the plug out. So he has lost a couple of laps sitting here on pit road under caution. Looks like he may lose a few more. They're not ready anytime soon to put the car down. Tough break for Dennis. He had an awfully good run going. He had one of the fastest cars here all during practice. He was running up in the top of the field, so better luck next week for Dennis.
Glenn, NASCAR is checking some of the scorecards, but as we have it, Tom Peck, Ronald Cooper, Mark Martin, and Joe Nemechek on the tail end of the lead lap. Then Chad Little, Kenny Wallace, Mike Wallace, Elton Sawyer. Welcome back to where are we?
We're Richmond, yeah.
I keep wanting to say Martinsville.
Well, we'll be in Martinsville in a couple of weeks.
The way this race is going, Darrell, I kind of wish I was there.
Caution messes up everything.
Here's what happened. There's Dirk Stevens' car being hauled off. He is okay. Took the trip to the care center. Tom Peck was involved in the first caution of the day. Mike Stefanik spun and got into Tom Peck. The two of them crashed at turn 2, and Tom pitted under that caution at lap 28. He has not pitted since. And at the time of the caution flag, there were only 2 cars left on the track that had not pitted under green. Peck was one of those. Ronald Cooper was the other. And so those cars are on the lead lap. Here's Randy.
Well, guys, for years we've been saying the Winston Cup Series is the most competitive form of motorsports in the world. But lately, the Busch Series has been pushing them for top billing. We've talked about how many cars are here this weekend. It's tough to qualify.
No, this is so competitive now, it's unreal. The Busch Series is just like Winston Cup, probably even tougher because we're getting 60, 70 cars to every race here now. And it's just a matter, you got to have your stuff together.
It's my job as Roy's crew chief to give him the best car I can, and then we see what happens. Like I say, 54 cars, 34 starting position. It's kind of rough. Somebody's going home.
The increased difficulty in qualifying can be attributed to several factors. Exposure through TV over the past few years has made the Busch Series a cost-effective way to market products. Less than a quarter of what it costs to run a Winston Cup car. Unfortunately, some of the sport's top drivers have had to pay the price, like Larry Pearson, who did not qualify last week at Rockingham.
They were a little upset after qualifying, as was I, but nobody was more upset than I was. But, they put it all behind them. I mean, this week has been great. They've been in a good mood, and, things like that are going to happen, especially when you go to a racetrack and you only get 1 lap, and, there's no second round qualifying, so there's no room for error. But, I made a mistake, and I apologize to all of them, and they understand that things like that can happen. So, they forgave me, so everything's all right now.
Let me tell you who went home this week. Tommy Houston missed it by 1 spot, and his streak of running in every Busch race since the series was named so in 1982 comes to an end. 360 straight races. David Bonnet missed it by 1/4 of a second. Nathan Butke, Dale Jarrett, Indiana Andy Hillenberg, George Crenshaw, Dale Earnhardt, Patty Moise, Chad Chaffin, Marty Truex, Eddie Goodson, Richard Lassiter, Pat Davison from Delaware, Johnny Smith, Robbie Reiser, Ken Wallace, and Kerry Teague all went home.
Yeah.
And Johnny Smith, whose car burned up during a practice session.
Yeah, those guys, there's about 5 guys in the field that are there because of their point standings from last year, plus Pearson on his champions division. So NASCAR does a great job, Mike, of trying to get everybody they can into the field. The fields are limited, the numbers are set, but they have the provisionals and they have the champions provision as well, so that pays dividends sometimes.
Let's update you on Tom Peck's progress and how he came to the lead. Let's go to the pits.
Well, this is Brian Fraser, his crew chief. And Brian, are you guys really in the lead lap?
Yeah, we're in the lead lap. NASCAR right now is trying to decide if we're the only car that's on the lead lap. I mean, we got in that wreck, and then about lap 50, we come in our caution and got 4 tires because the car was, after the little wreck, wasn't real good. I mean, excuse me. We got the tires were pretty good, and then we went back out, and everybody else had to pit under the green, but we think the wreck may have helped the car a little bit. So we believe we're on, they're trying to decide right now if we're the only car on the lead lap or not.
Boy, what a turn of events that would be.
Well, we had that happen in the Slick 50 series. Andy Hillenberg flipped his Sprinter, made a mess of it, and then came back and won the whole show. Worked better after it got bent.
Yeah, well, sometimes you learn, we have a theory at our shop, sometimes you learn more about the car after it's wrecked. It changes the front end geometry. We take them home and really check them over closely after we wreck one to see what's really wrong with it. Sometimes you find out things that you thought were wrong really help them. It's a real science, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
Wreck the car and fix it.
Well, it starts out a precise science. It just doesn't always end up that way.
That's right.
Here's what scoring is giving us. Tom Peck in the Channel Lock Chevy, number 31. Ronald Cooper in the Johnny Cotton car, number 56. Mark Martin, the Winn-Dixie Ford. And Joe Nemechek in the Nemco Motorsports Chevy are on the lead lap. 1 lap down. Chad Little is 5th. Kenny Wallace is 6th. 7th is Kirk Shelmerdine. 8th is Elton Sawyer. 9th is Terry Labonte. And all those cars are 1 lap down.
Well, let me say this, Mike. If Joe Nemechek is on the lead lap, he's on the tail end of the lead lap because 31 is the leader. That's right. And Nemechek's in front of him. So in reality, if 31 could pass the 87, 87 would actually be a lap down, it appears to me.
Well, let's show a situation from last week that appeared a little bit similar. As we now get 1 to go. Last week they were lining up for the restart. You'll see Stevie Reeves gets into the side of Jim Bound trying to get into line. He gets into Mark Martin.
Yeah, it cost Mark Martin his chance to win because it damaged the sheet metal and knocked it in on the tire and maybe even cut the tire down. I know he had to make an extra pit stop. So things get very tense right now. Lining up side by side, double file restarts. I'm not a big fan of them, but that's the way they like to do it.
Now, Tom Peck has not been on pit road since lap 28, 100 laps ago.
It'll show here in just a second.
Pace car is in. Joe Nemechek tail end of the lead lap. Number 87 will bring them down to the green. The leaders are on the inside row. This is where everybody's trying to get to. Bunches up there. Tom Peck is not fast down the back straightaway, and he's coming to the pits.
Yeah, he had to. He can't race those guys when they got 4 tires and he has 9.
So Peck will give up the lead.
Oh.
Jimmy Spencer scoots up the racetrack in 4. Kenny Wallace fighting his way up from the back.
Kenny Wallace and Mike Wallace, the Wallace boys, they got together coming off of turn 4 there and really turned their car sideways, but both of them did a great job of hanging on to it.
Here's Glenn in the Tom Peck pit.
Coming in for a 4-tire change. Brian Frazier wouldn't tell me that a while ago because he didn't want to tip anything off to anybody might be listening in. If they are going to change 4 tires, remember he's already stopped under the caution, so he's out of 3 tire changes now. He had to stop under the caution, under the green, to be able to change all 4 tires. And you're exactly right, Mike. He couldn't race those guys with the fresh rubber on, so they took advantage of coming in right after the green flag came out. They're going to get him down and away here pretty quickly. That's all they got now. He's out of here. Pretty good pitch stop.
Well, he went a lap down, and, you know, he was a lap down earlier. Maybe it'll work out for him again. Got a car real slow up in the middle of turns 1 and 2, going to cause a tremendous traffic jam here in a second.
Chad Little.
Yeah.
Who's in 5th place.
Something happened to that car up in the middle of the turn up there, and he just lost power.
I think he also was out of tires, stopped on that early caution and hadn't been in since, Darrell. He's got a flat, we're told.
Yeah, there's something happened to him. He just all of a sudden just slowed way down, and cars were going by him on both sides. Everybody did a great job of getting around him.
And Ronald Cooper becomes the race leader. It's been several years since he ran a Busch Series season. And there he is at Johnny Cotton Sportswear. Cooper's only Busch Series win, May 1989, Lanier Raceway, across from the street from Road Atlantic in Gainesville, Georgia. He led the final 66 laps to beat Rob Moroso that day. He's in car 56.
I'm totally confused, Mike. Oh, we got a car going high here in the corner, guys, up 3 and 4.
That'll be Stevie Reeves. Just ticks the wall and keeps on. Well, more than ticked it.
Yeah.
Clabber Girl baking powder. That's the Holman family out of Indianapolis.
Well, he just clabbered that old girl. Oh. I think we used that line last week. I didn't mean to use that.
No, you've been waiting for a week and a half to use that.
Maybe I was wanting to use it. That's what it was.
Yep. Show you again what happened as we stay green. Stevie Reeves.
He just got in on the outside, and there, see all that dust flying up? That's just loose rubber and debris, and when you get into that, you really don't have much control over the car. These sticky, hot tires just cover that. The tires are covered up with that sand and grit, and they just lose control.
Well, the question now becomes, what can Ronald Cooper on Hoosiers do with Mark Martin on Goodyears? They're running 1-2. And Joe Nemechek at the tail end of the lead lap is the only other car on the lead lap. Leaders approach turn 3. This pack just behind them.
Mark's closing up on Ronald, and Mark, I believe, probably has fresher tires. I don't know when. Did Ronald pit with everybody else?
I think he was in under green.
I think he was too.
His dad owns that race team, Lewis Cooper. Jerry Glanville drove a few races for them.
Really, really nice people. Really good people, and Ronald's a great young man, and that's a neat sponsor, Johnny Cotton.
Mark Martin closing in. Ronald Cooper at the front. But Ronald has returning to the Busch Series after a couple of years off. Been tougher than you expected.
It's about what I expected. You know, this series has always been tough. You got the best of the Winston Cup guys.
the best of the Busch guys, so it's pretty tough.
We've just had a lead change, the 7th of the day. Mark Martin goes back in front, passing Ronald Cooper. And we'll show you that pass for the lead.
Yeah, Ronald just got a little bit high there in 3 and 4. And old Mark, he just put that thing right on the bottom and drove right under him, and he is also proceeding to drive right on the way from him. Mark has a little bit fresher tires than Ronald does right now.
Ronald Cooper made his pit stop at lap 111 and took on 4 tires. That means that all he has left to put on that car under caution are 2 right side tires per the tire rule today.
That may not be enough to get the job done. Particularly when somebody like Harry Gann, I understand, is sitting there with all his tires. Everything he's put on there. So even though he's a lap down, he's got a good arsenal of tires left.
Because of where the caution flag fell, there are now just 3 cars in the lead lap. Mark Martin, Ronald Cooper, and Joe Nemechek. So let's give you a Napa Field standing update when we take you all the way back through the field and show you where your favorite driver's running. When we do that, the first 3 cars will be on the lead lap through Nemechek. Now, beginning with Terry Labonte, all these cars are 1 lap down, as you see on the lower right of your screen, all the way back through 19th place. These are cars that were on the lead lap, but the caution flag came out just before the last couple of cars had pitted under green at the end of that sequence. And that put all of these good running cars 1 lap down. Bobby Dotter is 2 laps down. And there's a group of those cars back to about 27th place. And it certainly did change the complexion of this race.
Yeah, it really did, Mike. And the thing that's going to really make the outcome of this race or have an effect on the outcome of this race is who's got tires and who doesn't. And some of these guys have got 2 right sides left. Some guys have a set of rights and a set of lefts left. The guy that can come in here with 100 laps or less to go and put 4 tires on is just about assured of winning this race.
Battle here, Darrell, is for 6th place. Elton Sawyer in 38th, the Ford Red Carpet lease Thunderbird. I wonder if they own their race cars or they lease them.
Well, that's Ford Motor Credit has something to do with that car, so maybe they just rent them. I don't know.
I bet they get good terms.
They got a good one today. They ought to keep that one if they are leasing it, because it's a pretty good one. It's running very well.
Randy LaJoie at the outside with his 4th position for 6th place.
I got to believe Elton's pretty happy with his run today. Qualified very well, and he's very competitive. He's in the top 10 and doing a real good job. And that's a good job for a young man that's been out of the race car for a couple of years.
Yes. Nice aerial shot from our helicopter. And also in that top 10, we'll mention Mike McLaughlin's up there after starting in the last row after using a provisional 1 lap down.
This is a tight little battle right here. We got Hermie and
Hermie's 9th in the 25 car.
We got Hermie, we got Kenny, and here comes another Wallace, and we got Cravens, and we got Harry Gann, and they're having a whale of a battle. It's Stefanik, or Mike McLaughlin, not Mike Laughlin. He builds cars.
Yeah. It's I keep getting that in Jimmy Spencer's new car confused.
Yeah, I do too. I can't know it was 64 or 30.
Just like Philip. McLaughlin started last row, and he's right up there battling. 1 lap down, he's in 12th place.
Which is he's doing a good job, because they had a hard time getting that car up to speed, and so he's doing a great job to be able to run as well as he is.
Johnny Benson up there in the top groove in the Staff America Chevy 74.
He just picked the wrong line. It's kind of like being out on the interstate out here when the race is over with, and you get in one line and you don't go anywhere, and you jump over the other, and then you don't go anywhere. And he can't pick the right line right now. He's having a hard time figuring out which to be on the inside or the outside.
Now, Bobby Dotter up there in the higher groove, he is 2 laps down in the 08 DeWalt Tools car. So he's running with this pack, but again, he got a bit out of sequence.
These cars are all running pretty well right now. I don't think they're not setting the world on fire because of the tire situation, but by the same token, they all look like they're pretty comfortable, and everybody's handling pretty well. They're able to move inside, outside, and race each other without making a lot of contact.
Still a ways to go as we watch from the helicopter. 95 laps left to run here. Again, the field shaken out by a caution flag that appeared right near the end of a green flag pit stop sequence. It's Harry Gant in that bright green. You can't miss that green car.
Cows haven't eaten it yet.
Do not adjust your set.
You know, Mike, the tough thing now is you hear these guys at the beginning of the race say they're going to take it easy and save their tires. Well, you get behind, you get a lap down, and you can't take it easy and save your tires. You got to run hard to try to get that lap back, and the tires go off the car that much quicker. So it puts the guys in a real dilemma. When the race was going along like it was, everybody in the lead lap and taking care of their tires and kind of waiting for each other to pit, wasn't any problem. Once the thing changed the way it did, you get a lap down, you got to use a different strategy.
Mike McLaughlin doing a good job of protecting the bottom against Harry Gant as they race for 12th. As you watch from our Advanced Auto Parts helicopter mounted camera, home of PDQ, parts delivered quick. That's Advanced.
You get a good feel for how much arch or how much turn is in that front straightaway with that shot right there. You can really see those cars kind of looping down into turn one.
Kind of like a mini Michigan.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Let's go up to 8th place where Mike Wallace battles Tracy Leslie and Kenny Wallace.
Hello. That's when you kind of throw your hand up. You probably should get a good shot there. Kenny just threw his hand up and said, "Oh, excuse me, I need it in there."
Yeah, they lap by the 35 of Randy Porter.
That 35 car, he's been up and down today. He ran real well there for a while, and now he looks like he's back on 5 cylinders again. So he's having an up and down kind of a day.
He's 5 laps off the pace, running 32nd.
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing to me, Mike, is I watch these cars, and I know that the tire wear is critical, but the cars are still handling well. They're not all over the racetrack. They're not sideways. They're not running into each other. Even when the tires seem to go away on the things, they still seem to be handling pretty darn good. You got a guy on the inside, you got a guy on the outside, and they're racing each other cleanly.
For 10th place.
For 10th place.
1 lap down. 17 cars, 1 lap down. Larry Pearson's back in the race after changing that rear end, but he's a little slow coming up to speed. 161 laps complete. 89 to go.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Hardee's Frisco 250 is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
Welcome back. Here's your top 5. The first 3 cars are on the lead lap. Terry Labonte leads a gaggle of cars 1 lap down. Kurt Shelmerdine, the rookie, having by far his best run in the 11 racing number 19 in 5th spot. Let's go back to 12th spot as we watch Mark Martin move along there. Tracy Leslie and Ricky Craven.
See Johnny Benson in the 74 car. He chose the outside line a while ago. He couldn't get by those guys. He went to the inside. He worked by every one of them, and now they're trying to pass him back. So it's been a real seesaw battle right there between that little group of cars.
Now Benson is 21st. He is 2 laps down. Roy Payne comes to pit road.
Now here's when we get confused. There's 64 and 34. They look like, you know, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They're identical.
Almost. There's links for Hyde Tools on the bottom of McLaughlin's car. You couldn't tell them apart. And they're running 14th and 15th.
Yeah. And they're 2 modified drivers, or former modified drivers.
So 2 former champions in NASCAR's modified division.
What a coincidence. Do we have a race here or what?
Let's hope so. Good battle here for 12th spot. Spencer to the outside in the Food City Pontiac. And he's going to take Tracy Leslie. Here's another modified champion, Mike Stefanik, in the 1 car. He's been in and out of the pits all day.
Yeah, he spun earlier. He was in that early mishap, I believe, with Tom Peck.
Lap 28.
Looks like he's got it going a little bit better.
They just put tires on it.
Ah, then he is going much better.
Right. Let's move up to 6th place. Randy LaJoy in the Phenalube number 20. He's chasing Kirk Shelmerdine in 19. Another unsponsored car, the 11 racing car, in 5th, and Terry Labonte in 4th, number 14.
You know, Kirk Shelmerdine, that is a story in itself. Here's a guy that worked on the Weston Cup cars, a winning crew chief, championship winning crew chief, and he had the desire to be a race car driver. I think he figured out it's easier to drive than it is to work on them.
I wonder.
And he's doing just an incredible job. He did a good job at Daytona. He was looking good at Rockingham last week and running well here today.
5th place right now.
Of course, if there's something wrong with it, he can always get out and fix it himself. That's a good thing.
David Green makes a stop for right side tires. Elton Sawyer jumping down the line behind Tim Fedua. Let's put Sawyer in that battle as well. He's the 7th place car. Number 38.
This is going to get a little tight right down here going into turn 1. Elton took the inside line and got by Kurt.
Elton's flying.
That 20 car is getting a little impatient with Kurt. Yeah, it's going to give him a little bit of a bump coming off of turn 4 here just a second ago.
Mike Wallace marching through the field. He's the 9th place car. He's part of that battle. Pulls up behind Terry Labonte. Show you from the helicopter.
Kenny Wallace has joined that race. There's Harry Gant.
Yep. And they're all battling for position.
Yep. Yeah, they don't know that. I mean, they do know they're a lap down, but they're not racing like they're a lap down.
And they're not ready to concede this one yet. Dennis Setzer makes a pit stop. Under green. 75 laps to go. That's Randy LaJoy at the front of the pack, and here's Setzer coming in for right side tires. Hey, Elton Sawyer just flew through that pack. This is Setzer's 3rd green flag pit stop.
He didn't make the pit stop over not looking, did he? Elton?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. He just drove past that pack. Now here's Gant coming up behind Kenny Wallace, Randy LaJoy, and Kevin LePage, the Vermont Teddy Bear car.
Yeah, I like that one. Teddy bears.
How'd Jessica like that teddy bear?
Jessica and Sarah Caitlin loved their teddy bears. He's a nice young man. He came over and thanked me for mentioning his sponsor last week. And he's a nice young man. Does a good job. It's a good sponsor.
To answer your question, Elton Sawyer last pitted at lap 108 under green, 3 laps before the caution.
Wow.
And that's why he's a lap down. Pitting under green, and then the caution came out before everybody had pitted. From a scoring standpoint, it didn't help that the caution involved the leader. Trouble in 1, Mike Wallace. Something let go. A lot of smoke from that car before it got in the wall, and oil all over the track. Randy LaJoy got up in it. And there's one other car, I think that's Randy McDonald.
Kurt Cammerdine, is that Kurt?
He drove around it.
They oiled down that first turn pretty good.
Filled up the whole cockpit.
Well, the benefactor of this, and I've been keeping an eye on him, is Joe Nemechek. He was out in front of Mark Martin and
Jimmy Spencer up in the wall out of 4 here, Darrell. Got up there and scraped it. But you're right, Nemechek will be able to come around. Oops, Randy LaJoy.
Wow.
Now that's a little more spoiler than you'd want.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the whole back glass up in the air.
Caution comes out here lap 179. Something big let go on Mike Wallace's car.
Yeah, he dropped the engine here and just put oil all over that first turn.
Top of the screen.
There she goes. You can see the oil come right out of the engine.
Page just got past there.
Before he did, he drove her down the inside.
Kenny Wallace, too.
These guys who say that slow, what do you call those, pirouettes?
Mm-hmm.
I heard that on TV before.
Yeah, all over the steering now.
Yeah, he's hit the right side of the car against the wall and
just missed a little brother.
Blown the engine and just ruined his day because he was running pretty well.
Ruined his day too. Randy LaJoy again. Third week in a row. They've got a top running car and run into trouble. Trying to get that back glass fixed. And it's going to be a tough day for Randy as the leaders. Mark Martin comes down pit road, and so does Ronald Cooper. This is almost a free pit stop for them. They are
those 4 tires that Mark's been saving, and some of the guys have been saving, they'll be able to use them now.
Here's Randy.
Yeah, it's definitely a free stop for these guys. But even if they had to do it under green, this is pretty much a Winston Cup type pick crew. They're pretty quick. Now, they've already got their right sides on the 60. They were going to come in on lap 190, so about 9 laps early. The 56 car right side, there's no way they're going to beat this 6 car out. 23.8. Glenn?
Well, the 56 car can only change the right side tires, Randy, so he does beat him out. Remember that it was only a 16.4 second stop. Right side tires got him back out in the lead, but Mark has 4 freshman, Ronald only has 2.
Work continues on Randy LaJoie, and here's Joe Nemechek, who's on pit road, and he's going to need to hurry to get his work done to stay on the lead lap. Remember, he was tail end of the lead lap. Those 4 tires. And is he going to make it? It's going to be close at the end of pit road. There's the line. Here's the pace car. Whoa. Well, he got a green board.
Yeah, that was too close for comfort. I saw that happening. He started changing tires when the pace car was on the back straightaway. So I was holding my breath for him because he just got his lap back, and that was going to be close. That wasn't that they made a bad stop, but he had to come in late because he had to go all the way around and catch up with the back of the field. So he came in and got him on pit lane late, and he almost lost a lap.
So we're under caution at lap 182, 4th caution of the day. Mike Wallace apparently blew an engine to trigger that one down in turn 1. We'll be right back. After pit stops here at Richmond, 3 cars are on the lead lap. Ronald Cooper with 2 fresh tires, and behind him Mark Martin and Joe Nemechek, each with 4. Then a lap down, that big group of cars headed up by Elton Sawyer and Kenny Wallace. Tomorrow, race day on TNN is your one source in all of television that brings you all the latest news in racing, same time, same station every week. And it's race day right here on TNN. Join Pat Patterson at 11:30 a.m. and then an update on all the days and weekends activities at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Nashville Network.
Virginia's for lovers.
Yeah, Emporia, Virginia fans.
Yeah.
They're gonna Virginia's for lovers. The governor's tourism office is going to post $10,000 to the Busch driver with the best finishes at the 2 Richmond races, the 2 Martinsville races, and the 1 South Boston race, and that's a $25,000 point deal altogether.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Well, it's a great promotion, and you know, maybe some of these guys that don't have sponsors, maybe they need to go around and talk to their tourism people and see if they want to get involved in racing, because you know, we do have a lot of appeal.
Well, you look at this packed grandstand, and that's evidence of it.
Draw a lot of folks to the races.
Yep. Jimmy Spencer on pit road, the Food City Pontiac.
Did Jimmy own that car himself?
I don't think so. Dennis Shoemaker. Dennis Shoemaker is the owner. Shoemaker Racing.
He's given her a pretty good ride today.
Yeah.
Been right up in the top 10 all day.
It's become a grocery getter battle. You know, Winn-Dixie, Food City, Food Country. And there's Kirk Shelmerdine, who is going to go to the end of the longest line for this restart. How come, Randy?
Guys, he did not pit. He has no tires left, so I don't know exactly how many tires he has or how many laps he has on those tires, but that's it for Kirk. What he's got, that's what he's going to finish with.
That's bad news, because just about everybody's got a couple of tires on this caution flag. So even though he's running, I think he's running on the lead lap, and he's running 4th. He's going to struggle to finish this thing out without losing a lot of spots.
Yeah. Now, as we say, he has no tires left. He has no tires left that he can legally change under caution.
Right.
Due to the NASCAR ruling for today, he does have tires he can change to under the green flag.
Right. If he elected, he could come by, take the green flag, and next time by, he can come in and get 4 tires. With 60-odd laps, 70 laps, whatever it is to go here, I doubt if he'll do that.
Well, let's correct that. He is not go to the end of the longest line. He is rather on the tail end of the lead lap. We're recorded. If he lines up in that position.
They keep moving him around.
Yeah,
he was 4th on the lead lap, and now he has disappeared.
He's right behind race leader Ronald Cooper. Let's see if he can get up into position here before they get lined up and squeeze in behind the pace car. He is the last car on the lead lap now. Likely Ronald Cooper may not have known that. He does now. So now everything is straight.
If I'd have been Ronald Cooper, I would have not necessarily wanted Kurt with no tires on his car in front of me. But
or anybody.
Yeah, I would have liked it better if I could have had clear sailing.
63 laps to go. Pace car is in. And they come up to speed with Shelmerdine, the last car on the lead lap, the first car in line. Ronald Cooper going to try the bottom squeeze.
You know, all that stay dry down there in that turn and that oil that was there is going to make that a little bit treacherous getting through there.
Look at Elton Sawyer rocking away from his pack. He is also on the tail end of the lead lap now. He wasn't on the restart. That's how they look from in front of Mark Martin.
Boy, he's got cars all around him.
And Shelmerdine goes back a lap down. Joe Nemechek, the blue car, number 87, moving up under Shelmerdine.
Boy, that 87 car, now, you're talking about a rocket ship. He got 4 tires, and he is checking right on out.
And there goes Shelmerdine, way up toward the wall at turn 4. Doesn't catch it.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have tires. Trying to race people that do. You don't realize that you can't get off in that corner quite as quick as they are. Until it's too late, until something gets your attention.
Battle for the lead, and it's Nemechek on the bottom in the blue car, taking it away from Ronald Cooper. Where is Mark Martin? Leading the second pack.
Mark is having trouble getting up to speed.
Yeah.
He never really got a good restart, and he's just having trouble getting up to speed.
That's Nemechek and Cooper. There's Martin's number 60, and he is holding that pack up. Look at Bobby Daughter drive around him.
There's something wrong with that car. I believe he either has a flat tire or he thinks he does, one or the other.
Look at Kevin LePage in the Vermont Teddy Bear car right behind Martin.
He is causing a big traffic jam. Not any fault of his own. He just can't go right now, and he's got people bottled up behind him.
There's LePage now to the outside. Kenny Wallace going to have a look on the inside. 3 wide into the corner.
Now, folks, that was the car that was leading the race just a few minutes ago. He came in, he got 4 tires. I'm not sure what the problem is, but there's got to be one.
Well, we'll try and find out. Meanwhile, Nemechek's just stepping away. He has put Elton Sawyer a lap down. Hermie Sadler goes by. Harry Gant. Jason Keller. Jimmy Spencer.
Tom Peck's car showing the wear from the early going, but he's done a good job of keeping that thing in the race. And actually led the race at one time with it looking like it does.
Peck, after having to make that green flag stop for tires, is 3 laps down. What's the story on Mark Martin, Randy?
Well, guys, this could be an embarrassment for this team. They're not sure, but they might have the rights on the lefts and the lefts on the rights. So they're not quite sure. They're checking it out right now. But he's definitely squirrely.
Tire companies make a different compound tire for the right side than they do for the left side of the car, which is usually softer. And those compound numbers are marked into the tires. They're not marked left and right. The teams usually do that, but...
Well, for them to make a mistake of that magnitude, I find that hard to believe. Tire wear being the way it is, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. You can't imagine that they got those tires on backwards.
Now, there's nothing to be gained by Mark stopping. He's the 3rd place car, and he's running at enough speed that he could likely stay out there and hold 3rd place.
He's coming in. He just raised his hand up and told the guy behind him he's coming in. He's definitely got something wrong, and he's going to come in and see what it is. This is almost reminiscent of last week for Mark.
Yes. Randy is there.
Well, Mark has just come over the radio and said, I'm coming in, and I want you guys to figure out what's wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Darrell, but is it not illegal to have left sides on rights and rights on lefts?
Yeah, that's, I mean, if there's a NASCAR official there and that is what happened, there'll either be a significant fine or else normally there's a penalty that goes along with
it. But they've got it straightened out now. They got the new tires on.
Mark Martin back in the race. 51 laps to go.
Well, that'll certainly make, that'll get Mark back up to speed, but he lost a lap there in the distance here. He's going to lose about a lap and a half, so caution flag's the only thing that will save him now.
Even that may not.
Yeah, well, Nemechek's car is real fast. Now, I figured he would be when he put those 4 tires on. He would have been our leader all along if it hadn't been for the caution flag fiasco we had there a little earlier.
Right. Look at Ronald Cooper tracking Kenny Wallace. Wallace a lap down. Cooper, the second-place car.
You know, Ronald's doing an outstanding job considering he only took on 2 right-side tires. And he's able to maintain second place there and doing a good job.
Cooper, a talented young driver. When he first came onto the circuit, looked like he would become one of the series stars, but was injured in a big crash at Daytona in 1990. Decided to take some time off. Now he's back. Mike Stefanik, another pit stop for the Lux Air Force. And let's show you how Kenny Wallace has come through this race. He is presently the 4th-place car, 1 lap down. Started in 5th. Ran as high as 2nd, ran as far back as 23rd.
You know, that's a real consistent performing automobile. Those boys from Nashville do that, take care of that car, and they learned a lot running a car there at Nashville with Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Hamilton won this race a couple of years ago in that car, and of course Jeff Burton drove the car last year and won a couple of races, and I do believe. And it's a fine race car and a great operation. They do a good job with it.
Robert Presley is on pit road as we watch Mark Martin and Kevin LePage battle. And let's get an update on Mark Martin's pit stop. Here's Randy.
Well, we do know for sure that he had a left rear on the right side, and with built-in stagger, you have to have a little bit more on the right side. That's what makes these cars cut through the corner. So I can tell you one thing, there's a couple of ticked-off guys. One's driving the car, that's Mark, and the other one is Mark, and then the other one is crew chief Steve Neal. They're not talking too much down here right now.
Well, when you make mistakes like that, it's that old, what I like to say is, I don't care who beats me as long as I don't beat myself. And basically, that's what they did just then. Certainly the race isn't over, and they might come back and win the thing now that they've got it straightened out, but that's not the way you want to race.
Well, he's 2 laps down running 15th. It's hard to come back though.
Yeah, it is.
But he's got some fresh tires as he moves under Hermie Sadler.
Oh yeah, the car, you know, we know the car is fast, and we know Mark's very capable of making up 2 laps. The question is, does he have time or not?
Kirk Shelmerdine is on pit road, getting right side tire.
Yeah, poor old Kurt. He took care of those tires. He got every ounce of wear he could out of them before he came in. Got him some more.
You know, you don't have a sponsor, you got to.
That's right.
And I'm kidding. I mean,
no, but he did a great job. I mean, he led the race. Didn't he lead under caution there a while ago, or was it, we were kind of wondering if he was leading or not?
Tail end of the lead lap.
But he hung in there. He was in the lead lap, and they done a great job. And he's going to get him 4 tires and still get him a good finish.
I mean, this team will do whatever it takes to keep that car up front. They are looking for a major sponsor, however. Tom Peck drove that car last year.
Yeah,
Carroll 11.
That's a very good team.
Bobby Dotter comes on pit road, and Robert Presley has also been in for tires under green.
You know,
42 laps complete. That's a go.
I say over and over again, that's a good team, that's a good car, blah, blah, blah. All these cars are good cars, and all these teams are good teams.
A lot of good cars went home. Joe Nemechek leads by 4 seconds. We'll be right back. .40 laps to go here at Richmond International. Dave Rezendes makes a pit stop. And a car in the wall was Lewis Cooper, the second-place car, just bounced off the wall in turn number 2. Darrell, right at the exit of the corner, he got up high and got into the fence. Let's see as he comes around if there's any damage.
Oh, yeah, there's damage, Mike. He got up against the wall pretty good. And there again, he got 2 tires, and he's trying to race people that got 4 tires, and it gets you in trouble.
There's Kirk Shelmerdine going past him, Tom Peck. Watch that 56 car. Black, yellow, and orange right side of your screen.
He got up in that loose stuff we were talking about earlier, those marbles. When you get those on your tires, the tires are hot and sticky, and the car won't turn. You cannot get it to turn, and all you can do is ride it out.
There was already 1 set of marks on the wall at that exact spot. He put another set there.
Yeah, that's a tough spot off that corner where you get up a little bit high and get in the loose stuff, and into the wall you go.
5th place battle. Terry Labonte and Harry Gant. Mark Martin is a lap below these guys, and here's the 2nd place car on pit road. Ronald Cooper, after banging the wall, is in the pits, and Glenn Jarrett is there.
Ronald Cooper brings the Johnny Cotton Chevrolet in for a stop that he definitely did not want to make. There's a lot of smoke coming from the right side. He has gotten the right side body into the wall. and therefore it's rubbing the tires. That's where all the smoke that you're seeing is coming from. They're telling him now to shut it off. He's got more problems than just tires and just fender damage. We're trying to find out what it is and update you. Tough break for Ronald Cooper.
That's a shame. He was having a great day of racing. Jim Bound just got up in the wall.
Yeah, and while we're talking about Ronald Cooper in the pit, the 8 car, Kenny Wallace, got around our leader, and that puts him on the lead lap. He's at the tail end, but he is on the lead lap.
And this battle now, instead of being for 5th place, is for 4th. Harry Gant taking it over from Terry Labonte. 33 laps to go. We said it would be a wild topsy-turvy race, and it has been.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you've got a tire situation like we got, and you're going to have green flag pit stops, it just throws all the rules out, and you don't really know what to expect.
4th and 5th right here, 1 lap down. Kenny Wallace running just in front of the leader. He's the only other car on the lead lap with Joe Nemechek, and the report on Ronald Cooper is that he broke a right front brake caliper. They have isolated that from the brake system, and he's back on the racetrack.
Yeah, he won't be able to run very fast, and he won't be up to speed, but maybe he can still salvage a good finish after having a great run.
Nemechek battling David Green, and Green is well out of the lead. He will now go 4 laps down to 21st place. And Kenny Wallace in number 8, the Phil Martossi TIC Financial Ford, is the last and only other car on the lead lap, just in front of Nemechek.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Joe's really that concerned right now. I'm thinking Joe's probably saying, I just want to take care of this thing and get it to the finish. That's the only car I got to worry about, and I can see him. So I think he's pretty comfortable right now.
And Kenny's sitting there saying, please, please, let's have a caution and don't let it be me.
Right. That's exactly right. If Kenny got a caution, I don't know what his tire situation is, but if he got a caution, he had some tires left, he might be good to go.
Joe Nemechek's last win, New Hampshire, August 1992. He held off Dale Earnhardt coming off turn 4 on the last lap.
Well, we know he won't have to do that today anyway.
That's right. If you join us late, Dale Earnhardt, first time in his Busch career, failed to qualify. Ronald Cooper has gone behind the wall. What a heartbreaker of a day. No contest for the Goodies Headache Award today.
No, that's a shame. That car was so good, and he ran so well, and it's really gratifying to see a guy come back like that and have a good run like he had, and just kind of disheartening to see it end the way it did.
Roy Payne in for tires. And now, Harry Gant and Elton Sawyer.
I'm going to tell you, Elton just lives up the road here. He lives up in Hampton or Langley, I think it is, and are used to. This is like a home track to him almost. To see Elton run that well in that car is really, really, it's exciting for him, I know.
His wife, Patty Moise, tried to qualify, didn't make the show.
Well, maybe she helped him get his car running better. Helped him tune it up or something.
Maybe.
That's a good group of guys, though. Bob Sutton, he worked for me for a while. I'm glad to see him having a good day.
Here's Ricky Craven and Johnny Benson. Craven is in 7th place, 1 lap down, while Benson is 13th, 2 laps down.
Well, Cravens is having a good day, and, you know, he owns that car himself this year. And,
in the wall, Randy LaJoie, turn 2. Narrowed it up a bit.
I don't believe we're going to get a caution, though, Mike.
Well, he'll make it to the pits.
Doesn't seem to be a problem. If you see how people are having trouble down in turns 1 and 2, and that turn just gets a lot of debris. It's the way you sweep off into that turn. You come off of this front straightaway, and you sweep into that first turn, and actually just really throw a lot of debris and rubber up in that outside line. If you get up in it, you just into the wall.
LaJoie is not stopping this time, but they may bring him in. Here's the aftermath. He hit it way up before everybody else did.
You see all that dirt and debris and dust flying up in the air, and they get stuck to those real soft, sticky tires, and you just got no control.
He's staying on the racetrack. He is running, let's see now, 2 laps off the pace.
He's pretty well used that old girl left today, though. She's pretty beat and battered.
I said 2 laps, excuse me. He is way off the pace, 27 laps down. My mistake. Johnny Benson driving the Staff America number 74. Has it been a big adjustment coming out of ASA and coming into the Busch Series? We're back at Richmond, and we're only 17 laps from the finish here. You see Joe Nemechek trying to put Kenny Wallace a lap down. Advance Auto Parts, home of PDQ parts delivered quick. Bringing these aerial pictures.
Kenny had gotten by Joe a little bit earlier there, and now Joe's chased him back down, and he's trying to put him a lap down, and that'd put the whole field a lap down if he could do that. And Mark's chased up into the picture here, but Mark's a couple laps down. I don't think he's going to be much of a factor.
Well, the man who was on the lead lap with Nemechek, Ronald Cooper, has taken his car to the garage. Let's go there.
Well, work continues on Cooper's car. Ronald has climbed from the car. Looks like they're going to have an awful hard time getting it back in. But Ronald, you had a great run going. What happened out there?
Well, when we made that last pit stop, we only got 2 tires, and the car got off a little bit. And, you know, I was one with 3 of us in the lead lap, so I was sort of just biding my time with a few laps left. And just got down there whenever Harry and Terry went to get their lap back. I just got a little high and, you know, got up in the loose stuff, crashed the car, just, you know, driver error.
Well, it's got to make you feel good to know after that layoff you can still come back and run with these guys.
Well, you know, we figured it'd take us 2 or 3, 4 or 5 races to be in a position to win a race. You know, somewhere in there you got to be in a position to win before you can win. So today it gives us a lot of confidence as far as running up front and some strategy. I'll just have to do a little better next time.
Better luck next week.
Hey,
Ronald Cooper out of the race. You're watching Tracy Leslie there. And here a pack of cars where a little bit of bumper tags been going on.
Yeah, it just takes so little right now, Mike, to get those cars up in that loose stuff.
And there goes Tracy Leslie off the front bumper of Mike Stefanik. As Kirk Shelmerdine looked like he was going way up toward the wall.
Yeah, the tires are gone again. We got cars everywhere, Mike. Got another one in the wall down here.
That's Spencer.
The tires are gone off the cars again, and they get up in that loose stuff and they won't cut. And Nemechek's racing the 8 car back here to keep him a lap down. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be close.
Nope, Kenny stays on the lead lap. Great break for Kenny Wallace, puts him in position to win this race. There are now 11 laps to go, and Jimmy Spencer is not happy. I believe he was waving at Shauna Robinson. 11 laps to go. They will restart. When they restart with less than 10 laps to go, the restart will be single file. So that means Kenny Wallace will come right around behind Joe Nemechek for the restart.
Well, I don't think it's a real big deal because Nemechek had chased Wallace down and was trying to put him that lap down when the caution came out. Unless Kenny's got tires and can make a pit stop here, I still think Joe's in the driver's seat.
Tracy Leslie will come to pit lane after the altercation with Mike Stefanik. I said ooh down there because it looked like Kirk Shelmerdine was going to drive himself up into the turn 1 wall. There's Kirk on the right, and there he goes. Tracy comes down, and Mike Stefanik was already there.
You know, it's almost like there was oil in that turn because the 72 car got a little bit sideways loose. The 19 car went up high into that turn, and then the 72 came down into the 1 car. So it's almost like something was in the turn down there that caused those cars all kind of go crazy at once. I don't know what happened to Jimmy up here in turn 3. I looked up and he was headed straight into the wall. Boy, these things they aren't over till they're over, are they, Mike?
No, Darrell. 10 laps to go.
I was just ready to undo my microphone and get ready to go across the track to do a little Winston Cup practice, and I thought this thing was pretty well in the bag, but here we are.
Joe Nemechek thought so too. Yeah. And like we were saying, Kenny Wallace was hoping, please let there be a caution, and there was. He stays on the lead lap. Now it's a matter of how quickly they can get Jimmy Spencer's car removed. Pace car has slowed up its progress here. Mike Stefanik comes to pit lane. That crew's had a workout today.
Well, this is the leading driver's worst nightmare. You're sitting there thinking, I got this thing in hand. I got the second place car right in front of me. All I got to do is just keep him there, nurse this thing to the finish, and it's an easy win. Now you got the guy coming around and right on your back bumper, and the big thing here is, nobody's got any tires left, so it's ever who was good before still going to be good now.
Dennis Setzer and Robert Presley come in for tires. And remember, single file restart. That's a long way to come from the back of the pack. Nemechek and Kenny Wallace are on the lead lap. 3rd is Harry Gant. 4th is Elton Sawyer. 5th is Terry Labonte. That's a battle we'll want to watch when we get the restart. 6th is Hermie Sadler. 7th, Ricky Craven. They are all 1 lap down. 2 laps down, Mark Martin is 8th, Tim Fedewa 9th, Jason Keller 10th, and Mike McLaughlin 11th. 12th, Johnny Benson. 13th, 3 laps down, Kevin LePage. 14th is Robert Presley. 15th is Jim Bound. And 16th, Tracy Leslie. 17th is Mike Garvey. Also on that lap are David Green, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Tom Peck. Let's get an update on Nemechek's tire situation. Let's go to the pits.
There's been a lot of discussion down here as to whether Joe would come in and get the last 2 right side tires that he could change under caution. They have decided against it because they found out that the 8 car has no more tires to change. So if they came in, that would put the 8 car in the lead. They would only have 2 right side tires, no fresh left side tires, and we saw exactly what that did to Ronald Cooper, made the handle on the car go away. So they have decided to stay out there, will not change tires. They're going to make Kenny Wallace catch them on the racetrack.
You know, Mike, the thing here is not who's going to win the race. I think Joe's going to win the race unless something happens to his race car. The question here is, these cats are all lined up behind them 1 lap down. Harry Gant, Elton Sawyer, Terry Labonte. Hermie Sadler somehow or another finds himself in the thick of things every week, and here he is, 6th place. And that's going to be the shootout here when they drop the green flag, is who's going to run 3rd.
Elton Sawyer, we're told, has a different kind of problem. Here's Randy.
Well, Bob Sutton, Park car owner, I guess it's know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You guys got stuck with 2 new tires, and you really can't get them on. You can't afford to pull out a line, can you?
No, I really can't this time. It's a shame we got a lap down there in that one deal, but, you know, the Ford Credit Red Car Police Thunderbird really running good today. And I tell you, it's been a good day for us, and we're glad for Hoosier Tires. They're doing a good job.
Okay, good luck next week, too.
Thanks. I want to say a special hello to Papa Joe Herbert. He's getting well in Kannapolis.
1 lap to go. We'll go racing. Hi to Ned Jarrett, the host of Inside Winston Cup Racing, recuperating from back surgery this weekend, and Bruce Roney, one of the NASCAR officials on the circuit. He's also on the men. They're both missed here at Richmond this weekend. There is Elton Sawyer. Now, with this new restart rule in the last 10 laps, there's only 1 car that can move up in line, and that's Kenny Wallace, who is on the lead lap. The lead lap cars can move up in the single file order, and everybody else has to start behind them in single file order and is not supposed to change position.
Well, there's one good thing that happened for Kenny there is he got to run up through the field and clean his tires off. So we'll see if that has any effect. I don't think it will.
A very, very strung out restart. 1 car, Randy LaJoie, not coming up to speed. 6 laps to go. And Nemechek is disappearing. There he goes.
Yeah, that car was strong before the caution. Kenny was doing all he could to just keep him going a lap down. So, you know, Joe's got this thing in hand, like I said, unless something happens.
Kenny Wallace's last win, May 92 at Martinsville on a cold and snowy day when he edged out Joe Nemechek, who spun at the finish with Chuck Bound. There's the 2nd and 3rd place cars.
You know, it's funny, Mike. Kenny went Winston Cup racing last year in a good car. And just never found the combination. He jumps back in the Busch Series here where he was having some success before. Nemechek's a lot the same way. Joe hadn't found much success so far this year in Winston Cup. And here they both are leading the Busch Series. So there's just enough difference in these cars that it's hard to get out of these into the Cup cars.
And the thinking is Kenny Wallace will take this team. Omar Tossi and Kenny will go Winston Cup racing in 95.
I believe that's true. I know Filbert wanted to go with Jeff Burton. And that kind of fell apart on him. And he is capable of fielding a successful Winston Cup team.
Trouble out of 4. They were 3 wide. Tracy Leslie, Mike McLaughlin, and Johnny Benson on the outside, and Benson got the worst of it. The 12th place car ended up in the fence because 3 wide wouldn't come out of turn 4. We'll stay green with 3 laps to go as Tom Peck scoots up the high side with Benson in turn 2. Johnny's going to limp it around home. 2 to go.
Yeah, Johnny's car wouldn't turn down there, and he almost took him and Tom Peck both up into the wall, so he's got big trouble.
And it'll be white flag this time by for Joe Nemechek as Benson edges around the high side slowly. White flag. Kenny Wallace in 2nd. The battling will be back behind them. Elton Sawyer, Hermie Sadler just got past Terry Labonte, who battled back there for 5th spot. Here's the race leader.
Hermie does that, you know, every week he does that. He finds himself in the thick of things, and he's able to take pretty good advantage of it. He does a pretty good job of finding his way to the top 5.
Checkered flag for Joe Nemechek, 3rd career victory. And Sadler will hold off Terry Labonte, the Busch Series point leader. for his second top 5 finish in a row. Papa Joe Nemechek, Joe's mom Martha, and the whole crew celebrating. Cintas Uniforms, associate sponsor. They still need a big one. And Kenny Wallace has spun.
No, Mark hit him in. Kenny slowed down to come in the pit. They're down here at the end of pit lane if you want to get the camera down there. They turned in. Kenny slowed down to come in the pit, and Mark hit him in the back end and spun him around. It was purely accidental, but that's what happened. Caused us a bit of a traffic jam trying to get into the pit lane down there.
You said it's never over till it's over. It's never over till they park them.
No, it's still not over.
Well, this race has taken many bizarre turns, including after the checkered flag.
Well, Mark ended the day just like he started it. He bumped on the start of the race. Remember, a car didn't go fast enough, and he got into him, and he bumped him, and he come down pit lane here at the end of the race, and wasn't a good day for Mark.
But it was a great day for Joe Nemechek. Third career Busch Series victory.
And notice the sponsor on the side of the car.
There isn't one.
Well, it's also a big day for Hoosier Tires. That's their first win of the season, and some of the other cars had Hoosier Tires on them that run well too.
And look, Joe's got his Sunday suit on. Here's Glenn Jarrett, victory lane.
Well, they're still trying to get Joe Nemechek out of the car there. He's getting a lot of congratulations. Here's Larry Talbot from Hoosier Tires. Bill Broderick from Union Oil is here. We'll try to get a word with him here, giving him that Hoosier headband. And here comes Joe out of the car. Big wave to the fans. Joe, been a long time since I got to talk to you this way. What a great run.
Well, it was. You know, my hat's off to the team. We've been working hard. The car ran great. You know, we haven't got a major sponsor for this race. You know, we put Cintas on. They helped us out. And, you know, this is a team effort. We put on some Hoosier tires this weekend. And I know Goodyear had some good tires, too. We didn't get the pole. We thought we should have, but I'd take the win.
Well, it looked like, from my point of view, that the Hoosier tires maybe ran a little longer, a little faster than what the Goodyears did.
Well, the Hoosier tires are just excellent. I mean, I think we had a pretty dominant car. When we unloaded off the truck, we were fast, and that's the way the race went. It went my way.
Feel good to be back in victory lane.
It's been since New Hampshire '92, so hopefully we're going to get a few this year.
Okay, now let's go to Randy Pemberton.
I'm with the second place finisher, Kenny Wallace. We're trying to get him to smile here. These guys are so competitive. Second's great, but he's not too happy about it. I know you'd like to win.
You know, I'm happy, I am, but, you know, the car ran so good all day long, and somehow through all those green flag pit stops we got down that lap, we had to make our lap up and be patient with traffic, and there at the end, I thought I had a shot at Joe, but when they gave us one to go, I couldn't get nobody, and if you've seen on the replay, I had to go on the outside. I picked up all that rubber on the tires, and I couldn't get them cleaned up, you know, and when they dropped that green flag, Joe just drove away from me. But it was a good run for the TIC Financial Race Car, the whole Philmar race team. We're tough. We just got to keep on running hard.
Well, that just goes to show that you guys are back. I mean, you were up the Winston Cup last year. You're here, but you're making the best of it. And I'd say championship contender.
Oh, you know, definitely. I mean, you don't want to be cocky, but I tell the guys all the time, you know, last week in Rockingham, it hurt us. We were running third and broke a valve. But you know, like I say, I think we're in pretty good shape. We just got to keep our heads down and do exactly what we've done today. Get down a lap and never quit, never say die, and just keep digging.
Okay, good luck next
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Kenny Wallace, good, strong second-place finish here. And we'll be back with closing comments from Richmond International Raceway after a bizarre 250 laps right after this.
Coverage of today's Hardee's Frisco 250 exclusively on TNN has been brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light.
Well, Darrell, it was a wild one here at Richmond today, but a couple of cream rose to the top there, and Joe Nemechek, a worthwhile winner.
Yeah, well, if you think today was wild, wait till tomorrow, because there's going to be a lot of green flag pit stops tomorrow. And tires are going to be a factor again tomorrow, just like they were today. I was very impressed with Joe Nemechek's car all day long, this morning in practice and in the race itself. The Hoosier tires, they did the job. Kenny Wallace, if that car stays together, that car will win some races, and he'll be a factor in the Winston Cup or in the Busch Championship this year.
Let's have a look at the point standings. Here's our update this week of the Busch Series points. Terry Labonte extends his lead. Hermie Sadler's right there. Robert Presley, Kenny Wallace moves up. Harry Gant, the Bandit, in 5th. Well, 2 weeks from today, we're off to Martinsville Speedway, and that's always a wild one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be there or not. If I'm not, I know it's in good hands. I know you'll take care of everything, and of course Baker will be back by then. And oh gosh, he knows all about Martinsville. What did he need me for? some good guys really had good finishes today. Elton Sawyer and Hermie Sadler and Terry Labonte and some of the other guys that were up there today. Good show, good show.
Thank you, Darrell Waltrip. Thanks, too, to Glenn Jarrett, Randy Pemberton down on pit road. I'm Mike Joy for all of us at TNN, congratulating Joe Nemechek on his 3rd career Busch Grand National victory in the Hardee's Frisco 250.